Hi, it's Rebecca Jones here from Stretchy Thinking, and today we're going to be talking about innovation and using the technique called if anything was possible. Well, clearly not anything is possible, but sometimes we need to think about the impossible to help us come up with the right possible. You see, the problem is when we're faced with difficulties or scenarios which seem to be a barrier to what we're trying to achieve, we'll often look at what we've done in the past to overcome similar problems, or we've looked at other people's experiences of overcoming that similar barrier. And that can be really, really useful, but sometimes that pushes us down one particular way or one particular road, which might not necessarily be the best, because we haven't opened our mind up to considering different things. So let me explain it to you like this. When we're faced with a problem, our brain will think about how have we managed that problem in the past and successfully managed that. If it hasn't successfully managed it, that's the memories that it's going to play back to you, that we've tried that didn't work, that wasn't great. And it will see those as even more barriers. In addition, what it will be doing is saying, okay, well, last time we had something similar to this is what we did, and this was the scenario that followed. Now, this can be really, really useful, especially when we're in a crisis mode and we need to sort of quickly think about how to overcome a problem. And our brain can be saying, okay, well, we've done this before and this is what happened. But sometimes when we've got a barrier or a problem which is quite big, quite unique, quite different, that sort of way of thinking can be really very narrowing. It can really sort of push us down a particular route or particular road that might not be the best for us. So what I'm always trying to do is get people to think bigger and differently and come up with different ideas and different solutions. It doesn't mean we're going to do them, but it means it expands the brain, expands the thinking, and hopefully as we stretch our thinking outside of the norm, we'll see other opportunities. So this is how the activity works. When I was working with a client of mine who had a city centre hotel with a very small car park, we would regularly have a problem with people complaining about the lack of car parking spaces, as you would expect. You see, the problem was that when people would arrive late at night, they wouldn't have necessarily read the instructions when they made the booking that said that there wasn't much space, that you needed to park somewhere else, that you needed to walk, etc., etc. And so people would become, well, frustrated by the situation, and rightly so. But what can you do to fix it? Over the years, they'd thought about all sorts of different things and nothing really had been suitable. And when we were working on something else one day, they said, but the problem is with our business is we've got this big barrier. And as far as the staff were concerned, they saw it as a big barrier. And this big barrier was the fact they didn't have much car parking space. Well, it is a barrier, but is it really that big? So we spent some time considering what could we do if anything was possible. So if anything was possible, we would bring our customers in by spaceships. Maybe not. If anything was possible, we would only have people who came on the train. Well, that might be possible. If anything was possible, we would get rid of the building next door, flatten it, and build a bigger car park. Now that's an idea. What is next door? I asked them, and they said, it's the town hall. Yeah, that's not going to happen. However, we spoke about the fact that if you demolished the town hall and you had a bigger car parking space, would that overcome the problem? Well, yes, it probably would, to a point, because you'd have more space. Would it still be big enough? Possibly not. So we started talking about, well, okay, where else is there space that we could use? And we started looking at spaces. And I said, well, the town hall has got a space and it has got parking. And it doesn't use that parking of an evening. Is that something we could look at? So it started off the conversation about, could we work in conjunction with somebody else who has got space? So often what we do is we think about what the scenario in front of us without considering the bigger picture, the other options. So by saying if anything was possible, we were able to start considering different things. And we were listing things like if everybody arrived by cart, horse and cart, if everybody arrived by this. And of course, we then started looking at things like, actually, if everybody arrived by coach, well, if we only ran coach trips, or what if a high percentage of our customers came by coaches or trains? What if we only market and advertise to people that are coming in that way? So we're trying to avoid the people who are coming in their cars. So often those one night stays, people who are traveling with work, they come late at night, they need a parking space. Well, let's try and avoid those. Those are not our ideal customers. So by thinking bigger and thinking differently, we were able to identify the fact that there was parking spaces next door that we could use of an evening as overflow, as long as people were leaving by sort of a reasonable time in the morning. And we could start looking at the fact that there was also spaces not that far away in a big car park for coaches. The coach park was nearby, but not a car park. And so actually that was really useful. So we could encourage coach tour companies to come and use this space. So that's one of my techniques that I use when I'm running training sessions and workshops on innovation and getting your staff to think stretchy and be more enterprising in order to achieve great things within your organization. So hopefully you can use that now within your own meetings. So take it, use it, and good luck.